We're bringing together more of all the experiences you love. The best and widest variety of music, podcasts and local radio, cloud storage, messaging and more. Welcome to Digital at Digicel. Digicel. Better together.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio. I am Kevin Smith. Before we get to the news in detail, let's get to today's front page comment of the Kaieteur News. Different governments, same poor leadership. Two successive governments, one type of political leadership all the time. Nothing changes. When the previous government was in power, it shouted about how many it was going to imprison. Its pretended targets are still free and laughing their heads off in scorn and disdain. This new government assumes office and screams the same stupidities about locking up crooked opposition operators, and now it is the turn of those political foes to smirk and mock the government. As we look at both of them, we observe the same ugly vulgarities. They are so naked that a blind man could see them. The previous government set of people take money at the side for gun license. This one follows suit. The former government charged something under the table for house lots. This one does the same thing. The prior government operators apply a special personal fee for land and permits and doing business in this country, and guess what? The new government likes this way so much that it keeps doing the same things over and over. Governments change, practices stay the same. Perpetrators celebrate, citizens lament, and the ugly governance vulgarities continue. Guess who is trapped in the middle? You. Guess who vote for these people for them to lord it over us and feast on us? You. And now for the news in detail. There has been much discourse over the industry low 2% royalty Guyana is getting from ExxonMobil's oil production in the Stabroek Block. However, the deal granted to the owner of the Kanji Block pales in comparison. When former President and Minister of Petroleum Donald Ramotar signed away the Kanji Block on March 4, 2015, he not only agreed to a royalty rate of 1%, he agreed that Guyana would repay every cent. The fiscal terms of the contract denote that the funds gained from the sale of the oil and gas will be split 50-50 between the contractor and the government after the contractor recoups its investment. The royalty is what should have also been payable by the contractor of a percentage of all oil and gas produced and sold. In this contract, the royalty is being paid to GRA from the government's share of profit oil. In other news, when looking at the sheer scale of its oil and gas discoveries, it is clear that Guyana has in its hands an enviable amount of wealth. But to ensure that resource benefits its citizenry, the true owners of this patrimony, the politicians in office, have to get a few things right. According to Chatham House Associate Fellow Dr. Valerie Marcel, Guyana needs to think long-term and keep its eyes fixed on outlining provisions that create value that would last for years to come and under economic different circumstances. Instead of training scores of Guyanese in certain specialized areas, Dr. Marcel said the new oil-producing state would be better served in conducting training for vocational skills which can be applied to other sectors of the economy. In other news, mere minutes after two knife bandits robbed a teenager of her belongings yesterday, they turned up next door to her home to celebrate the stolen booty. 18-year-old Amina Mohammed was walking along Sussex Street, Charlestown, Georgetown, when at around 7:30, the bandits rode up behind her on bicycles. Mohammed recalled that she was attacked in the vicinity of George's Bakery, located at the corner of Sussex and Ketley Streets. Mohammed, who was at the time heading to work, remembered turning around and running back to her home in tears. She said that she saw the men at a location right next door to her house, celebrating the stolen booty, with other boys suspected to be bandits too. According to Mohammed, her brother stormed out and instructed them to return his sister's belongings. The bandits, she said, mocked and threatened to kill his entire family. And moving on, Guyana's Civil Defense Commission, with support from the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Authority, is closely monitoring the sinking of an oil tanker off of the Venezuelan coast. The 15-year-old tanker named Nabarima is an oil vessel that is permanently moored offshore of Venezuela at the Corocoro oil field in the Gulf of Paria, located between Venezuela and Trinidad. The vessel currently holds 1.3 million barrels of oil and is currently sinking in the Gulf of Paria. The potential spill threatens not only the Gulf, but the entire Caribbean Sea, as it can impact the ecological systems of Venezuela and Trinidad and Tobago almost immediately, with the impact affecting other countries within the hemisphere. And moving on, Chinese contractor China Harbor Engineering Company continues to display blatant disrespect to the governing administration, as it has not yet submitted the revised work plan for the Chedi Jagan International Airport, $150 million and counting renovation project, after being given a 5-day deadline back in August. That deadline was granted by the Ministry of Public Works since August 28, after a visit by President Irfan Ali. However, when asked yesterday, that should be today, if the contractor met the deadline, Public Works Minister Juan Edgel answered in the negative. Let's tell you now that the Bank of Guyana on Tuesday revealed that it is currently in the process of modifying the requirements for the opening and maintenance of customer accounts at licensed financial institutions. In a statement, it said that the amended guidance is intended to specify simplified due diligence measures for customers who are categorized as low risk. The simplified measures, the bank said, would include the acceptance of non-form of identification document, either a national identification card, passport, or a driver's license. Additionally, in instances where the identity document contains the details of a customer's address, such document may also be acceptable for proof of address, and there will be no requirement for annual submission of these documents to the licensed financial institutions. Let's tell you now that 3 murder suspects escaped from the Lusignan prison, East Coast Demerara, between 17:30 on Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, and 6 hours on Wednesday, October 1st, 2020. According to a police report, the escapees are Mark Ruffino, called Mark, 25-year-old, a laborer of Purica Facade, East Bank, Essequibo, and 20-year-old Alex Matthias of Good Hope Dockyard, Essequibo Coast, along with 19-year-old Arnold Bruce Kennedy of 847 Zeeburg Housing Scheme, West Coast Demerara. The escapees jumped the southeastern fence and made good their escape. The prisoners were checked around 17 hours on Tuesday night, and around 23 hours, ranks were informed that some prisoners had escaped. And that brings us to the end of this evening's newscast. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Hi guys, this is Susan Sachs and you're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM.